How's everybody doing today? Nice to see you. A big hand for Liv Bory, everybody. That was incredible. Amazing. That's what I love. Earlier in her speech when she said, and I won $1.7 million. And only a banking crowd would be like, yeah, that's okay. That was last year's bonus. I mean, it was fine. You know. Nice to be here. And I know speakers say that, right? We like to say that. Very nice to be here. Trust me, it is super nice to be here. This is why. I'm turning 55, and at home, I have a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. So if you're in your mid-40s to late 40s and somebody says, oh, you're gonna get married and have your first, don't do it. Do not, it is exhausting. And I know I can see your faces. I can see your face. People are like, second marriage. Want to bet? Second marriage? No, first marriage. I'm just a procrastinator. You can take that to mean for whatever you want. I just if anybody asks, okay, I'm with you until Sunday. All right? I'm not going home to those people. Daddy, you wanna play mini sticks? No, I'm old. Daddy wants to watch Murder, She Wrote. That's what I want to do, and that's a reference from 1998 for you, for those of you who are there. What's really funny is that they have my kids are in an art program. They take an art class once a week on Thursdays after school, and my wife takes them every week. Every Thursday she takes them. And there was a drop-in on a Saturday, and so I said, oh, I'll take them, you know, because I don't want to be one of those husbands who would, like, send his wife to coach, right? That's a callback to Josh's presentation 2 speakers ago. Wait, okay. So I said, you always take them. I never get to take them. I'll take them on this Saturday. So I go with the kids. So I show up. The instructor knows the kids. She doesn't know me. So I show up. And they go, oh, Max, Benny, how are you? Nice to see you. And looks at me and says, you must be the grandpa. And I said, nope. The backpedaling was like, I really felt for her. You must be the grandpa. So now my wife calls me grandpa, which is great. She also said, I think we need to dial up your skincare routine. Now that's kind of funny, but you do it too. Financial institutions tell stories to their prospects and clients where you look at somebody, you take a demographic profile, you have your customer persona, and you assume the stories that they want to hear. You assume that the 55-year-old with horrible skin and balding hair needs a certain set of financial products and services to meet that stage of life. And not all of us are at that stage of life. I'm Canadian. Do you know how many emails I get of people like, time to start converting your RRSPs? And I'm like, no. I need a minivan and pull-ups. And the pull-ups are for me. No. It's absolutely critical more and more that we need to tell stories that are customized for individual people with individual profiles who have individual and really specific problems. Here's why. This is the world. This is your world. This is what you're living with right now. There's a whole bunch of issues going on, and you have to deal with it. You have declining institutional trust, a variety of institutions, the very nature of FI, the I stands for institution. They don't trust you. Second thing, people are taking AI and all they're doing is you jump straight to output. How can we become cheaper, faster? How can we get to mediocrity at blazing speed and cost? And it's the rise of meh. Instead of looking to see how it can make us smarter, instead of looking to see how we could scale individualization and customization, we jumped right to output. And the result is a sea of same. We also know that your industry is completely disrupting itself. My insurance person wants to be my wealth person. My wealth person wants to be my tax person. My tax person wants to be my wealth person. Everybody is eating at the personal finance trough. And so the very specialization of what many of you offer is gone out the window. It's gone. You also are kind of suffering from data debt, or you're data hoarders. You've got all this massive amount of data sitting on servers somewhere. You have no idea what to do with it. And that was the last big thing. That was the last shiny object, big data. You're already on to the next thing. And it's just sitting there. Of course, your consumers are going through economic and emotional uncertainty with everything, going on in the world. Your products are being commoditized. You have fragmented audiences like never before. You have expectations that you're going to deliver on a purpose that you proudly talk about nonstop. We're all craving human connection. And there's this idea here of FOMO versus FOBO. That on one hand, the consumer is FOMO for fintech. It's the fear of missing out. Oh, there's a new way to do this. There's a new tool. I got to get in on that. There's a fear of missing out. But inside your organizations, it's FOBO. When it comes to technology, it is not a fear of missing out. It's a fear of being obsolete. All of these things contribute to the fact that we need to simplify our stories. We need to better connect with people. The average North American consumer is just standing in the middle of Times Square, metaphorically. They're standing there. And up top are the big legacy brands who can afford the big expensive real estate. And yes, you have legacy trust there, but look at where they are. You're further removed from the reality of the street. Now down below, you've got your startups, you've got your disruptors, you've got your insurgent forces. And they could be more customized, they could be more personalized, they could be more aggressive. But on one hand, for all the legacy brands, the consumer standing there, they don't know where to look. Down below, they don't know who to trust. So the best place to be as a financial brand is to use an old Allstream tagline. That consumers want brands that are big enough to deliver and small enough to care. Big enough to deliver, you got scale, you got infrastructure, you got legacy, you got process, you're trusted. But small enough to care, to take that and apply it to human beings. That's the challenge before you. The problem is you're speaking bank. Some foreign language that is spoken only by you. You should be speaking human, but you're speaking bank. Now, speaking bank can be a couple of different things. One, you're either using data to coerce instead of connect. Where you're coming out with facts and figures. Your economic reports are talking about job losses. You're talking about the quarterly growth. All of those things at a time when consumers want support and want relevance. You're coming with facts and figures. So there's a way to use data in a completely different way. The other thing is that in speaking bank is that you just speak in such general terms that it doesn't actually apply to anybody. These photos are from the websites within wealth management of 5 different firms. 5 different FIs. This is how you all see retirement. Apparently, we're all retiring to an ocean somewhere. Upper left, if that was me and my wife would be like, get your hand off me. This is not retirement from, you know what my retirement's gonna be? You know what my photo is gonna be, me at my retirement? I'm gonna be eating chicken fingers and fries at a horrible resort in the Dominican Republic somewhere with a 5- and 7-year-old running around. So what do we need to do? Well, we need to know that data isn't the story itself, it informs the story. And we need to use it to connect with people, not to coerce people. So how do we do that? What are these foundational stories? We know that every story, and by the way, the stories, it really is just a piece of communication outside, whether this is a print ad, a TV spot, a billboard, a newsletter, or inside the organization, we know that your ideas, the great ideas you have here, will be adopted by other people all through your communication. And again, whether that's an email you send somebody or a PowerPoint deck or a water cooler conversation, those are all stories. If you're under 30, a water cooler is a thing that used to sit in an office that, an office is the place we used to go to. So we know that these stories need to be grounded in purpose. We know that they need to be driven by actions, by substance, things that you do or things that will happen to them if they do what you suggest they do. So grounded by purpose, driven by actions, and adopted through authentic and personalized communication. That's every story. Or really, it's really just based on what you think, what you do, and what you say. So let's look at the think part. Why do we need to think? Now, you might not see it, it might not be clear, but I'm actually part Italian. My mother's maiden name is Vocino. I went to Italy, and in Milan, there's a statue outside the stock exchange. Now, you might be thinking, like, what beautiful Italian statue could be there in honor of the business establishment of Italy? The statue is called Love, and we're not quite sure whether the artist meant for it to be the Italian people flipping the bird to the establishment or the establishment flipping the bird to the Italian people. This is, okay, just hold on. I got to come for this is going to be the best joke of the day, okay? You with me? Sure. So what this artist is saying, get ready. If you're an FI, F you. That's right. That's what this, you didn't like that? High five? Okay, there we go. Amazing, thank you. All right. Oh, there's no stairs. I'm going to pull a hamstring getting back onto the stage. Excuse me. Well, there we are. All right. Did you get that on camera? Is that okay, great, amazing. Here's the point. They don't like you. Loss of institutional trust through all the injustices of the world. Who wore it? We did. Private sector wore it. And what did we do to respond? Especially FIs. We said, no, don't hate us. We just wrote a purpose statement. Oh, this purpose statement. Our purpose is to pursue equality, sustainability, and anything else that will make us sound nice. Some of you were a little more pointed in your purpose. Our purpose is to help people live their financial best. Really, thank you for rebranding a mission statement as a purpose. Gotcha. We got purpose wrong. Purpose, yes, purpose needs to be the thread, the red thread through all of your stories. But we got it wrong. And to the point that this book is, this book is out May 6th. This year. You can pre-order this book through the retailer of your choice. No way. Man, I hope there's a QR code later. Spoiler alert, the purpose of purpose is growth. It's growth. Every story needs to have purpose embedded within. So that when you start to apply the products and services to me, I know it's got to be grounded in something. So really, it's about what do you fundamentally believe in? What do you fundamentally believe in? That is the heart of the story. And I know what many of you are saying. You're like, oh, no, don't worry about it because we have values. In fact, if you go to our website and you click our values, you'll see them listed right there. Oh, it's beautiful. And I say, I know what you did. You grabbed your marketing team, your SLT, you went to a resort north of whatever city you're from. It's probably on a lake. You huddled around a flip chart and you said, all right, people, we need values. And someone goes, I hear accountability is good. And you're like, yes, Tom, We are writing that down. Okay, we got performance, accountability, creativity. Shit, if only we had an E, we could spell pace. Someone said, what if we just said on everything? And you said, yes, now we have pace. And then you go to your clients and you go, we're setting the pace. And you hire an Olympian to come in because they set the pace. Here's the reality. I shouldn't read your values in your stories. I should experience your values. I only experience your values through the actions of your people, through the products and services that you provide. I only experience your values and experience your purpose through the direct application of those that you have done the work to data to know what is most relevant to me, that is most relevant to solving my problems. So as an example, let's say you're a bank, and I'm not naming any names. But let's say you're a bank and you say, banking with us is like sitting in a big green comfy leather chair. And then I go to the bank and that's the chair. This is a problem. Okay, so we need the do. We need the do. What do you fundamentally do? That's the heart of the story. You spend a lot of time learning how to tell great stories instead of learning about the things that we need to create to generate great stories. At the heart of every story should really be this. We believe this, so we do this by doing this. That's at the heart of every great story. As an example, this is wrong, but we believe that mortgages should be simple, not stressful. So we provide the most efficient mortgage experience by eliminating cognitive clutter, never using jargon, investing in technology, and an end-of-day guarantee that we'll get back to you. We believe this, so we do this by doing this. Led by purpose, but the meat of the story is what you fundamentally do for that particular group or person. So when we're telling the stories, it's like, really, what is this for? Who is it for? And what story do they want to hear? Because here's what they're not telling you. What they're not telling you is their inside voice. Shut up and solve my problem. And by the way, they don't just have finance problems. They have emotional problems. They have logistical problems. They have confidence problems. But they want you to shut up and solve their problem. Because they're all really like Simon Holland, who said, I got a job at Comcast and completed training so I could fix my own cable because it was faster than being on hold with customer service. I'm willing to bet that 95% of you in the room hung your hat on an advice platform. We give advice. Advice is important. Tailored advice. Advice is easy to get now. There's a thing called finfluencers. What we need is customized and personalized stuff for us. Otherwise, the robo world calls. There's nothing we like better than the sound of our own name. The whole point of this was, who would you share a Coke with, and what did we say when we saw it? We're like, screw Dan. I don't want to share a Coke with Dan. I want to share a Coke with myself. And we hunted for a Coke with our name on it. Now, data can give you all of those great things of personalization, customization. AI can help you scale back end so you can deliver it. But inside organizations, what we truly need is a genuine desire to connect with another human being. My wife saw this piece of art, and she said, we got to get this. And it's just a quick little illustration. She's like, it would look great on this wall at the cottage. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I have no say in this matter. But I nod, and of course, yes. So she orders it from a store we had never been to. It was on the other side of the country. Now, what you need to know about my wife is, aside from being an absolutely wonderful human being, she has the best handle in the world. My wife's name is Christy Pickles. It's just a fun name. And so she orders this, And what comes in the mail is a card with the order that says, "You mean a great deal to me." And inside, "Dear Christy, thank you for your order. Is your last name really Pickles?" I love it. Love Danica. It really is a great, if you go to restaurants and you're like, "We're here for a reservation for Pickles," they were like, "We were waiting for you to show up." This is amazing. Now, this isn't just a nice to have. Because what happens in FIs when we don't have a genuine desire to see the whole human being? That's what happens. Now, in order to see the whole human being and connect with the whole human being, every single one of you needs to show up as the whole human being. That we need to communicate the stories that we tell externally or internally in a really authentic and personalized way. Now, this goes against most of what your process would dictate. This is not the way you do things. Trust me, I own an agency. We have an expression. Your agency will never tell you this. Don't tell our clients, I told you. We have an expression. Kill it and bill it. Let's go. Kill it and bill it. Get it out the door. This is assembly line. And we spend a lot of time dealing with the Great Resignation. But the only thing worse than the Great Resignation is the Great Resignation. Because resignation has two meanings. The first one is the one that got all the press, which is a reaction to an unfavorable situation. This sucks, I quit, I'm out of here. But the other definition of resignation is way worse. It is when someone is merely resigned. They are resigned to going about their day the way they've always gone about their day. They're resigned to having the same conversations with the same people. They are resigned to telling the same stories with the same punchlines and the same insights every single day. It is not a reaction to an unfavorable situation. Worse, it is an acceptance of it. So we need to switch it up. That every single one of us needs to be able to not suffer from the Great Resignation. And part of that is leading with imperfection. Of authenticity, to me, whether it's in your external comms or your internal comms, authenticity to me is really just being comfortable with your imperfections. Because if you show up looking and acting and sounding like the stock photo version of what you think a banker's supposed to look and act and sound like, I'm not buying it. I've heard the script before. I know that story. I was doing an event pre-pandemic in Sarasota, Florida. It was for the Business Roundtable. The Business Council. Two different organizations. The Business Council, it was 100 CEOs. And I'm talking the 100. To the point that I can't tell you who was in the room because of Chatham House rules. I can only tell you that there were 3 external speakers. And it was all on their public itinerary. So it was me, George Bush, and Jeb Bush. It was insane. And I did a whole hour just on CEO authenticity. And while I was there afterwards, after my session, a CEO came up to me, and he is the CEO of a large global software company that you all know, and he is from the Deep South. And he said, "You know, I took a lot from your session. I thought you'd like this. Before I was at the software company, I was at a CPG, a consumer packaged goods company. And at one point, I got promoted to VP, and they sent me on a leadership development course. And I quickly realized the sole purpose of the leadership development course was to get me to lose my Southern accent. Because they didn't feel I'd have credibility on the global stage." And so he said, "So I quit." Because I realize my voice, it ain't no bug, it's a feature. When we can tap into data so that we can become smarter, that we can become more insightful, so that we can identify the real problems that whole human beings have and work to solve them, that's a story that's worth talking about. That's a story that everybody wants to hear. You can think it, you can do it, you can say it. Thanks so much for your time.